definitely want to know more about that investment.
Well, that's a good shot. It's just your thing is in the way.
Yeah.
That's a good shot.
This is the shot I would have been on Instagram.
It's okay. It's
I
recorded?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, we finally got here. What
That
time
shit
is
was
it?
fucking booming, huh?
What time is it?
Like 12.
Record after.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Okay, well, welcome everybody to the Pussy Power Hour, where we give you education and information about your yum yum yanni. Pun intended, at least from my perspective. My name is Kai Haru Rama, and I'm the founder of the Holistic Health Awareness Team, which is a group of naturopathic doctors and holistic physicians who specialize in a variety of holistic services, products, and modalities, most of which are energy therapies. My area of focus and concentration is in something called meridian therapy topology, which can best be described as acupuncture without the needles. And my lovely co-host here will introduce herself.
I am Teray May, and I am your local pussy practitioner.
Yay.
I don't have no long.
Oh, you say my stuff is long?
That shit is way too long.
Well, hey, I can't have my stuff is long. Okay. Hey.
Can't help it, I'm certified out here.
Facts, right?
And we have a special guest today.
Yes.
I know we do a lot of fun stuff with the Pussy Power Hour, but today it's going to be a little bit different, perhaps a little bit more serious, but we're going to have fun nonetheless. So if you want to introduce yourself and tell us what you do as well.
Hi, my name is Shay Saunders. I am the CEO of Danger Zone Personal Training, PT LLC. I help women who have been through traumatic experiences to have that safe space and have that no judgment zone in order to rebuild yourself. And just wanted to come with these other great people to talk about trauma and how it just affects you, mind, body, and spirit, and just how to really get through those trauma and the healing process and know that it is a journey that you're going to go on. So
Excellent. You bring the best guests on TV.
I know.
Now, you said you do this with physical fitness.
Yes.
Okay. So besides the physical fitness, what other therapies might you include?
So I have an online coaching program. So we have an app where we do affirmations every morning. You do meditation. You sit in your food. You sit in your water intake. I check it every day. We have weekly journals that we do. So I send self-reflection questions every Sunday, and then you were just about 5 questions or so. So you just to self-reflect and try to put yourself better in a mental space. So when you do fall off that journey, because lifestyle, it's a lifestyle, so it's a journey. You know what I mean? You're gonna fall off every now and then, as long as you get back up and keep moving. Like I fell off 1,001 times, but I've gotten back up and kept pushing myself and to keep moving, because that's what it is. Especially when you're on a healing journey, you're gonna have your good days and you're gonna have your bad days. So it's being able to push through that. So getting a lot of mental stuff that we help in the program, just to help you mentally to just get those clouds up out of you and just push forward.
So it's interesting to note that you would have this much of a humanitarian attitude and love for people. I take it that you have a story of maybe some trauma that caused you to maybe start this whole thing?
Yes. Well, just to go online, I was always into health and fitness. My degrees in kinesiology. So I have that. I also have my personal training certification, sports nutrition certification. So I've always been into health and fitness. I played 3 sports in high school.
What'd you play?
Basketball, bar and track, field hockey.
I didn't do nothing.
You didn't do anything?
I didn't do
You did something, you graduated.
shit in high school. And I graduated early. That's crazy.
See?
But I didn't do any physical activities.
Yeah, see, I've always been athletic.
What position?
And it's so crazy because I always make sure my daughter does, like,
Something
she's active.
So you play point guard?
Point guard, yes.
Well, that's
Point
what you're
guard,
doing right
shoot guard.
now, because the point guard is the coach on the floor. They're the ones that distribute the ball, decide. They have all decisions. Everything is in their hands. So you're doing that in your own business. So I can see the parallel. It's very, very good. So do your story of trauma, would you care to share that at all? And you don't have to, but I'm just saying, because there's somebody out there that either had a similar story, they have a story and haven't told it yet. So,
And that's how we kind of met.
okay.
We kind of met sharing our similar traumas. Yeah.
It's interesting because I've been in therapy now, at least in Meridian Therapy Typology, 15 years, and I had no idea the type of trauma that women, and especially Black women, were enduring. All the fibroid tumors, all of the sexual violation, all that. I had no idea until I started to, get into the field, and it's over 50%.
And do you know that, yeah, like you said, a lot of trauma is caused by when they were, younger for Black women, like you said, sexual trauma, things of that nature. For me, I was telling her that I have been in a physical abusive relationship before.
Okay.
Where it did affect the sex.
It's going to affect everything.
Everything, right?
Well, okay. I'm not, even though I have XX chromosomes and I have some woman in me, some female in me, I'm a man. So I want to ask from my perspective, in a relationship such as that, what makes you stay? I understand that there's abuse, and see, I'm a man, I'm different. Somebody hitting on me, I have a different mentality. I'm either going to get away from it, I'm going to get it away from me, I'm going to exterminate it. Something's got to happen. So tell me, what is it that makes a woman stay despite them being in a situation that's kind of, not positive at all?
I feel like, and I would not have made that same decision as a woman. I'm a woman now. That was when, I was a kid. I want to say I was a kid. I was in my early 20s, but I did not have the same mentality I have now. If I did, I wouldn't have stayed. I stayed because I did not have the mentality I have now.
Well, let me ask you this question.
But I didn't mean to cut you off, though.
No, you're good.
So I realized
I actually always wanted to ask too, because I didn't have like a physical type of thing. So it's like when people say they're in a domestic abusive relationship, I didn't ever thought I was in a domestic abusive relationship because it wasn't physical until.
Well, those are the worst kind, though.
Yeah, exactly. So it was the mental, emotional abuse that I went through, and it was like I didn't understand it because I've never dealt with mental health before. So it's like to be able to navigate through that or whatever, and still having to navigate through, and it's like where you stop, like, damn, maybe I was abused. Was I?
Well, this is actually a very good situation here that we have. The physical side of it, and we have the mental emotional side of it, and it covers just about everything. But the emotional,
and then the side that's never endured it.
There you go. Well, no, I can't say that. I have been abused. It may not have been physical, but I've had some verbal, emotional, mental abuse as well. But the thing is, with the emotional and verbal and even any of those abuses are worse than physical, because scars can heal.
Yeah.
Bones can heal.
Yeah.
But those deep cut words that people have said over the years, over the months, some they meant, some they didn't mean, they just meant to hurt you. That stuff cuts very, very deep. And unless you have a method, like myself and many people around the country, to help you release that negative energy, that stuff sets up in your body as disease. Yes. This is where your cancers and stuff come from.
And that's the reason why I always stress yoni steaming. Because with yoni steaming, it's an alternative outlet to release that stagnated energy. As you were saying.
Exactly why I wanted to do it. Like just that whole mind, body, so just release everything, because I've so much trauma and built up, like you said, like the fibroids and stuff like that I didn't even know really came from.
The what?
The fibroids.
Okay.
You were saying. I didn't know that they really came from stress and stuff, and having those removed before and thinking like, okay, I got to remove, they're not gonna come back. But still having those compacted.
And then doctors be so quick to put you through surgery for stuff like that.
So it's a big thing.
I'm not speaking against the
I have a lot of clientele who have fibroids, and PCOS, and a lot of these diseases, or these things that put the body at a disease.
I like the way you said
so,
dis-ease. You didn't put it together. When the body is out of balance,
right,
or when it has it's out of ease, That's the problem.
And you know what? I also have a lot of clients who be like, well, my mom had fibroids, or they were like, or my auntie or my grandmother had fibroids, and I'd be like, I'm sorry to tell you, but your mother didn't give you fibroids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
It's not
hereditary.
Right.
Yeah, it's not.
But that's interesting. Let's explain to the viewing audience how something intangible can become something tangible. For instance, you said that you were emotionally and mentally abused, and for a minute you didn't know. So can you tell us what that looks like so that other people can go, well, shit, I got the same thing going on here. Tell us what that looks like. What does that look like?
It took a long time to like really acknowledge it and be like, oh no, because when you're dealing with someone for so long, you're blind by the love and everything. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you don't really recognize it, and it's like you're going through therapy and you're starting to see things and you're like, hold up. Like I said, when you pray for discernment and people don't understand, like really when you pray for discernment, it can scare you because it's really like you start to see things and you're just like, no, that's not true. And God's like, no, I'm just going to keep revealing until it smacks you in the face. And if you don't get it, I'm just going to keep revealing, you know what I mean? Until you learn your lesson. So it's like really hard in the beginning to like really move past it, but then when you start to notice actions and it's like your mouth is telling me one thing but your actions is telling me something totally different.
I always stress that, like,
it's the actions.
Love is in action. You have to show me that you love me, like seriously, like even like and I mean love is spoken in a number of different languages, but love is not you whooping my ass.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and while you say that, how do you qualify tough love?
I do feel like I do give tough love. I did in my situation because I felt like it was always so used to everybody just being that yes person or whatever, nobody actually truly holding you for your accountability and your actions. So I felt like I was the one that gave the tough love, but it wasn't coming from a malice intent or anything like that. It was like because I know that you needed it because of how things had transpired.
So did you start working out? Because you know how some people be like the gym relieves stress. Like me, sometimes when I go to the gym, I zone out. But I know a lot of people use physical fitness as a way to relieve stress. So did you start working out to relieve the stress, or you was working out all through your whole relationship?
No, I started back out because, like I said, I lost all interest in everything from going through functional depression, and I deal with functional depression till this day. Like I have my good days and I have my bad days with it. But it started because I was up to like 203
in weight.
Yes, and I've never in my life been that big, and that's after I had my kids. So, but it was just from like functional depression, postpartum depression. I had anxiety and I had PTSD, and I was dealing with all that at the same time, and I didn't know how to navigate it because I've never done with mental health before. So getting up to the high, like me walking up the steps and I'm out of breath. Like I said, I've been athletic all my life. I played college sports and everything. So it's just like it didn't resonate with me. Like how do people be this big and not like do something about it? But it was like mental and physical go hand in hand, and people don't understand that. Yes, I knew what to do, but mentally I wasn't there to actually do it.
That's what a lot of people do about eating healthy. Like we know to eat healthy, we just don't do it.
And it's 80% nutrition, 20% exercise, and people don't understand that. Like it starts in the kitchen. That 20 minutes, 30 minutes in the gym is not really going to get you to your health and fitness goals. So like I literally started just really putting me again, and it was all about putting myself again because I poured so much into everybody else and to my marriage and everything. Is like I forgot about me and I didn't know who I was anymore. And like I said, I lost the outlet for my passion. Like everything, sports didn't interest me anymore. Nothing interested me. Physical fitness didn't interest me anymore, whatever, because I lost my outlet for my passion. So when I started to really work on me again, praying more, and which that's what I really did. I prayed myself through the process.
Okay. You threw some stuff out there. Let me back up here.
I threw some stuff out there.
Wait. So this relationship that you're talking about was a marriage?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm currently going through a divorce.
Okay. that was good to know because I thought you were just going with the guy. Not that it makes
Oh no, it's been about 20 some years. From 8th grade.
Okay.
I've known him. We actually got together in 2009.
Okay. So let me go down that road because there's a lot of familiarity there for so many years. Okay. And I asked you before, what does it look like? Okay, this emotional and mental abuse. So I want to push you down that road just a little bit more. Okay. For our viewing audience who may or may not be going through a similar situation, what does this verbal, mental, emotional abuse looks like that you can't quite identify? Give me examples of that. You know what I'm saying?
Let's say like from dealing with a narcissist, they like to isolate, make you feel like you're there, like you feel like they're everything to you. You know what I mean? Like
I do, and that's exactly what happened to me too.
You get caught up with trying to please because they're everything to you, and it's like I say, it's the mouth, but then the actions would be something. So it's like the gaslighting.
I was taken all the way to Connecticut. No one there, knew no one, but that was that person's hometown.
See,
you know what I mean? And so it was like, well, let's go here. We could, I'm gonna make sure we straight. And this is my hometown, this is my stomping. And it was like, as young, especially I hear you say you coming into it young. That's why we do have a lot of similarities. When you come into it young, it's almost like you've been taught that a man is supposed to lead. So when you see that there are possibilities that he may be a good leader at a young age, you're like, okay, well, maybe this is what my mom speaks of. This is a man that can lead. And then you neglect the other stuff. And so for me, it was that same way with when I was dealing with a narcissist. It was like I felt he really was like, took me from my safe haven and took me to Connecticut, where I was completely isolated and dependent upon his moves.
Now you
mine
guys
was
are
kind of
3 years.
different because I built my life in another state where I was the first one to graduate from my family to go to college or whatever. So it's like I worked a full-time job, I went to school full-time, and I had a part-time job in order to pay for school. So I really got it out the mud with no help of no one or whatever. So it's like to build a whole life somewhere and then to get moved to give up for love and make all these sacrifices to get isolated. Like you said, you had to move over to Connecticut. It's like I moved back to where I wanted to move from or whatever to start my life. And it's like I got isolated from everybody that was helping me on my journey in life or whatever. So it's just like to give up everything to be your nothing. And it's like, oh wow,
everything to
be your nothing.
I like that.
So let's talk about this love thing for a minute. And I heard you all kick around this term narcissist or narcissistic, which is supposed to be an uncommon love for oneself. Is it that, or is it just young men being misguided by old traditions like Genesis? The book of Genesis says that there's this man named Adam who created this woman. Now that in and of itself just sounds a little weird, okay? But just in my scope of thinking, everybody has a navel. And you can meet people without arms, without legs. You will never meet a person without a navel, which means they came from a woman. So I think traditionally we have become,
then they had the nerve to say Eve came from Adam.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
So we have a subtle hatred for women. It's called misogyny.
Adam came from Eve. No, that's not right.
It's called misogyny. And misogyny is a subtle hatred for women, and we're taught that. It's woven into our very society, okay? So when you start talking about love, love is always a display, as you said, but in the Koine Greek, there are 4 different kinds of love. You have agape, which is allegedly the love that God has for people. It's unconditional. And then you have philios, which is the word Philadelphia. The root is in there. It means a brotherly love, okay? I scratch your back, you scratch my back, okay? And then you have an eros love, which is the pussy power hour type love, okay?
She's like,
and then you have storage love, which is a family love. But in each of those, there's a reason why I love you. And if you can't define a reason why, then we have to understand this is not love. It's not love at all, okay? It's our young men's interpretation of what we think we're supposed to be acting like and is supposed to be treating you like. And the bottom line is, if a man can't look at a woman and say, wow, not only is she the equal, she's not subservient, she's not behind. When you go to Egypt and you look at the thrones and all the things that's there, the woman's throne wasn't any bigger or smaller than the man's. The queen and the king had equal sized thrones. They ruled simultaneously. They had the same power. When he left the country, she was in charge. Okay.
Yep.
So if you can't,
My husband always say that.
if you can't view women in that way, it's going to be hard for you to love and respect women in that way. So we get smooth. Men. Oh yeah, baby. We get that pimp voice on. You got to believe in me, baby. And all that kind of carrying on. But again, how do I really view you?
I think drugs also had a lot to do with the previous physical relationship I was in, because he was 14 years older than me. So he was from that era where niggas were smoking woolies.
What is that?
Crack mixed with weed.
Wow. Okay.
And so he had an issue that I didn't know about until I got to Connecticut.
I see.
So that was his run back to Connecticut. But unconsciously I didn't know.
And we find out that the greatest love is not a love that somebody can give you, but it's the love that you have for yourself.
And that's another reason why when I meditate, I really feel it in my gut, in my heart, because like I was talking to my husband one day, and I was telling him, I was like, this day, I remember this day. And he was like, what you mean by that? And I remember days when I was in Connecticut fucked up, and a certain breeze would hit my face, and I would wish that I was somewhere else doing something else, getting money. And now sometimes in my position that I'm in now, that same breeze will smack me across my face, and I'll be so thankful to my ancestors and to the universe, like, damn, I remember feeling this same breeze being fucked up. Now I'm in a position where I'm a little bit better, and I'm a lot more grateful that I loved myself enough to remove myself from that situation.
And that's what it's all about, loving yourself enough. Because when you lose yourself in any situation, especially with women, we just lose ourselves in family, your husband, your kids, your jobs. Like, you just lose yourself or whatever. And you wake up one day like, what's that like, why am I here? Like,
and
you know what I mean?
Like, subtle things to show that you, like you said, when you got to be over 200 pounds, sometimes that's a self-love issue. How can you look at yourself and say, okay, I need to do something about it? It's even more subtle as this. People that don't drink water. I don't like water. I don't like the taste. Well, if you know that we are water beings, and 80% of us is water, if you don't drink water, that's a self-love issue. It's subtle.
Exactly.
But why would you deny yourself something?
And y'all know I be advocating for water. Y'all know I do not play in
yourself
body weight in
water.
water. You should be drinking half your body weight in water.
So with your two examples, all of that negative energy that was brewing inside of you, you naturally pushed it down to your uterus. Okay, and when that fire energy goes down to the uterus, it physically creates cysts, bumps in the uterus, on the ovaries, all of that. And when those cysts go untreated, they can turn into tumors. All right, and oftentimes, maybe not all the time, those tumors become malignant, and they call that cancer. Okay, so there is a cancer. The consciousness of cancer is, I can't let go. That's the consciousness. Anytime somebody has cancer, they're saying, I can't let go. And if you tell me what that cancer is, I can tell you what it is they can't let go of. And in the uterus, I can't let go of that negative energy I have for that man or those men. Okay, so you consistently have to be releasing negative energy, because if you don't, it builds up, and that fire energy becomes cysts, tumors, and a whole bunch of other disturbances, not just in the uterus. It can go down to the vagina. Your pH balance can change. You start getting itchy, start getting smelly.
Yes.
I ain't been with nobody, I ain't done nothing. It has nothing to do with that.
Yes.
It has something to do with the internal negative energies that you're not releasing. It can come out as a herpes outbreak, even though you may not have the herpes. It can come out in, acne in your skin, okay? So the bottom line is, we have to learn how to be able to release the negative energies that are the causes of the physical manifestations of diseases that we have. And in your case, it's because the uterus is extremely important. That's the nurturing aspect
I
of the woman.
love
Yes.
my uterus.
That's the nurturing aspect
Like
of the
when I
woman.
tell y'all I love my uterus. I mean, sometimes I be giving my uterus massages. I be
I give
talking
uterus
to my
massages too now.
uterus.
Mm.
I'm trying to
Mm.
tell you,
Bless your
I
heart, it's all in your
love
parts.
my uterus. That's his thing. Bless his
Okay.
heart and all your parts. That's
Yeah.
his thing.
So after you discovered all of this and you began to get on track,
Drink your smoothie.
huh? I did. How is it that you looked at some other young ladies and said, wow, you guys are going through some of the same stuff I went through? What is it that you offer them from an emotional standpoint that you can't perhaps give them physically? Because I know you got to give some type of counseling of some sort. It comes with the territory.
Yes, we definitely do that. Like I said, with the affirmation and stuff like that, we just talk about that. We have group calls that we talk about and stuff. But like even on my website, I just went in real great detail on my website. So once you even read it, you already know what I'm about and that safe space that I'm trying to create for other like-minded women who have been through trauma. And just because my trauma might have been like that emotional type of trauma, like her trauma was totally different from mine, you know what I mean? But it didn't, somebody else's trauma might have been somebody getting raped or something like that, or some childhood trauma. We all go through different forms of trauma. That don't mean that we all can't help one another through that trauma. So that's why I wanted to create that safe space that like your trauma is different from mine, but we can help one another through that trauma and creating that safe space for each other through health and fitness and living that healthy journey and going on that journey. Because like life is a journey, and you the only one who have the map to your life.
Now, also, I mean, I know this is the Pussy Power Hour, and we're talking about the female aspect of the abuse. But when I mentioned, men can have abuse too, to me, it kind of looked like, oh, I guess that can happen. But
It can happen.
Let me give you a small example of that. Mom and dad's abusive to mom. They break up. It's a bad breakup. Got a son. Son looks like dad. She hates dad. So now she, in subtle ways, digs at you. You're going to be like your no good, rotten ass daddy. Your daddy ain't shit. You ain't going to be shit. That's abuse.
Yeah, it is.
That's mental and emotional abuse. And guess what? Unfortunately, there are times when he magnetizes or he attracts people to him that offer him that same abuse. You ain't shit. You ain't. And so he doesn't walk away from it because he's used to it. It's familiar to him. So I'm assuming that this thing can also happen. It doesn't matter about gender. It's about us being able to recognize what abuse looks like. Sometimes it can be very subtle.
And you don't know that. And that's why, like, you always, like, especially when my child speak life into him, I tell him all the time, whatever, affirmations and stuff like that. But going through this, you do have to stop and realize, because at the end of the day, with everything that I'm going through, I'm still someone's mother. So it's like you still got to put that cape on to be that go hard mom, and you're just like, I want to go in the corner and lose my damn mind and cry like a baby, but it's like I can't, because now I got to put this face on for my kid to make sure he knows, like, regardless of what you're going through, like, mom got you, like, you're
well,
straight.
let me ask you this. I hear what you're saying, but do you think it's a healthy thing that your daughter see you cry so she can say, well, what's wrong, mom? And because one day in her life, she's going to have to cry. She's going to want to, you know what I'm saying? So you say you don't want to show it, and I understand it because you want to protect them and you want to show strength. But at the same time, that's going to come up in everybody's life. Should you show your weakness and show, you know what, I'm hurt right now? And explain to them, listen, I'm hurt. You're going to have some.
I do that, and I actually did that yesterday. Like, honestly, like yesterday, guys, I was having, and it had absolutely nothing to do with Valentine's Day, but I was having a somewhat shitty day. And, I told my husband, I'm like, I just want to just be left alone. Because he just kept saying, shake it off, shake that shit off, And I'm like, yo, just leave me alone. I'm asking to be left alone. That's what I want.
You got it.
And so even with my daughter, like you said, the kids, they don't know no boundaries.
They just want to
leave
snack
you alone.
So
she was just like, mommy. And I was like, mommy's gonna watch a movie. And she was like, okay, I'm gonna watch it with you. And I was like, no.
That's sweet.
No. I was so like, so in that moment that I was like, no, I don't, listen, mommy wants to watch this movie by herself. And I do have those moments, but I do talk to her. Like, I let her know, like, listen, mommy is not really, I mean, I curse at my child. Don't judge me. And I'll be like, yes, mommy's having a really shitty day today. So mommy just need a second. You know what I mean? So, and I'll talk to her. She might be like, what's wrong? Or what happened? You know, she'll inquire. She might not inquire depending on how the vibrations of she picking up how serious she know I am about it. Like, kids are like fucking dogs.
They know.
Like, they pick up on vibration
like,
and stuff.
With your daughter, that might be a therapeutic aspect that she's acting out because she see what you do. You see what I'm saying? So she might be looking at being a future therapist because she's asking questions. Because a lot of children are really curious to know what's wrong. Like you said, they just want a snack. But when she look at you, say, "Okay, you going through something? What's up? What's wrong?"
And that's why I do be real with my kid, because it's like, this is real life. Like, you can't sugarcoat shit anymore, because it's like right there in the same face. And I mean,
because it's a balance. I mean, like, it can work for your benefit, for their benefit, and then it can work against them.
Not to overexpose.
Not to overexpose. Not to overexpose. Okay, so now let me get you. Okay, we've identified the abuse. Let's say we've come out of it. My question to you two is, what keeps you from going back into a similar situation? Give me the red flags that you've learned to see or identify, because so many women end up right back in that same situation 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
You have to cut the romantic connection and burn that bridge in order to, like, if it's a romantic type of thing.
You mean if only the sex is keeping you there?
No, like, you have to kill that romantic connection, like that idolizing connection, like what could be and what could have been, instead of realizing what it is right then and there.
The reality of it.
Yeah, the reality of it. You have to kill that romantic connection. Like, I love him, I want to be with him, like, I want this work. You have to kill that in order to, like, really move on and cut all communication.
My shit was been dead. Like, I did, like, my romantic connection to a Libra.
Okay.
Yeah,
like, my shit was been dead. It got to the point where it was like, I was like, I started looking at him like, you're a fucking bum. And I just didn't even want him touching me.
Okay.
Seriously, like, that was my romantic connection, been done.
So that's funny, because you sound like somebody I know, like, no, and I'm like, it took me a long time, because it was the whole of, I was more upset with myself, because how much I have sacrificed and how much I have given up, and really was pure hearted about it and went into it intentionally. And it's like so much that, like, I could have done but I didn't even do or whatever. But it's like I really was upset with myself, like disappointed in myself, like, wow, like that's the part it took me the longest to get over, because I was over like the act of what he's doing and all that's like, okay, I don't even care about that or whatever. It was like, wow, like you really put everything into this, and this is what happened because you were going through your own stuff mentally, and that person wasn't able to help you mentally because they couldn't go buy it. And it's like, that's not what I needed. It was a materialistic thing. Like, I needed help mentally and physically, spiritually, emotionally, or whatever. And that stuff I was not able to get, so I couldn't see past everything else because I've given up so much, and I just felt like I can't give anymore. Like, I'm exhausted. Like,
so when you killed the romantic side, were you still loving him when you killed the romantic side?
Like I'm not gonna stop be lying to you and anybody else. Like, I won't never stop loving. That was my heart. Like, that's
I think I did.
Yeah, like once I
think I did.
That's the first person I ever gave my heart to. So it's gonna take a while or whatever. Like, you have it. Like with women, we can love you to death from a distance. And it's like, I still love you, still wish you nothing but the best, but it's like from a distance or whatever.
I have, like, you know what it is with me? I go into situations with 100% love. Like, if I fuck with you, I fuck with you at 100%. And slowly,
it declines.
you knock your own shit down to 98,
see, I'm just the
79,
like
89,
this.
89. Most people do. Most people. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I should have did.
That's what I'm saying. Most people do. Most people go into a situation very guarded.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But I think that's because hurt people, and
Absolutely.
they're not. And this is why, like, people be like, "Oh, just move on, or whatever." Like, it's a many minutes to see it. It's just like, that's not the case or whatever. Like, I wanted to move on my pace because I really believe hurt people
well,
or whatever. And it's like, but somebody, somebody actually, I can't let I've never been the type of person let somebody's actions dictate my character. I'm not gonna go out here and sleep every time Dick and Harry because that's what you did or whatever. Like, nah, that's not who I can't everybody touch me. And it's like I've always been like that or whatever, and my body is sacred to me. It's my temple. So if I want you to, you have to really do something for me to actually want to touch me. Like, don't. My skin crawls, so like, and like, I can't.
And that is also how trauma also relates to sex, even with another partner, because a lot of times when you move on to the next partner, you know, it could be certain things that you just don't like from this partner that traumatized you, that now when you're with this person you're like,
and that's why you have to heal.
Stop,
that's why people hurt people. That's why I wanted to heal. Like, it's nothing to go move on and talk to somebody else. I didn't want to do that. I really wanted to heal and sit in my lessons and understand like, why did I have to go through this or whatever, and what am I not gonna take in order to go move on in my life or whatever. I don't want to hurt somebody else because of what I just went through. Like, that was the most traumatic experience ever for me to go through, for me to sacrifice so much to sit in a jail cell, to like get felonies behind somebody and risk your own life for somebody, for somebody to do something and still talk bad about you and like trying to.
I'm trying to tell you, once you traumatize me, like, my pussy don't even get wet.
Like, it's just,
if I've been traumatized,
But that's since the 8th grade you knew him, right?
I've known him since 8th grade. We've been together since 2009. He went away.
Okay.
So it's like he chased me for like 8.5 years. Then we get together. Actually, I had sex twice before he gets locked up for the feds. So that was like 10 years. And then he comes home or whatever, in like 14, 13 or whatever. And then he went away for like another 2 years. So it's been a long, drawn out process. And it's like, just like I said, everything that I just gave up myself and sacrificed. And it's like, I just wish I would have known the type of time we both were on. So when I was going through my own mental stuff or whatever, you were more worried about getting yourself together, and I was worried about getting our family. And it's like, now it's like, you're here and I'm here, and we're mixed.
But the thing about that too is that us being females, that's what we focus on anyway, family. And you know what I mean? So don't ever feel like you should have made a different decision for being the woman that you were at that time. You know, because that's who you were supposed to be.
And I also think too that this thing we kick around, this love thing, we kick this around way too lightly. And you have to come to a conclusion on your own terms, of course. With Dr. Kahiru Rama, it's very, very simple. Okay, I refuse and cannot, my body, like you say, skin crawl. I can't fool with nobody who doesn't love me. It don't matter what I feel about them. They could be a 10 in looks, 0 to 10 in looks. They got everything that I want. If you're not giving me what I require, need, want, gotta have, it's very, very straight line. Can't deal with you. Maybe we could be cool, but to be a partner, and guess what? Sometimes you say, I want them so bad. I want it. No. Forget that.
It's a difference between a need and a want. It's people understand when you want them and when you need them. Like, I don't need you, I wanted you. Like, there's a difference. Like,
well, the thing is, if they don't want you, then there's no want. If they don't need you back, then I'm gonna give you a good example. My son, he was really young. He's about 6th grade. He came and said, Dad, I got a girlfriend. I said, oh, okay, good for you. What's her name? Gave me her name. You got her number? No. You don't have her phone number? Okay. Well, how do you all get together? We don't get together. You don't? Well, how do you all communicate? We don't. Y'all don't communicate? I said, does she know?
The child together?
He said, I said, wait a minute, it don't count unless she knows. So unless it's reciprocal, it doesn't count.
It doesn't matter.
It does not count. I don't care what she is. So if it's not coming back at you like you giving it to him or something close to that, you got to shut it down. And it doesn't matter how you feel about it, because feelings are very, very deceptive.
They are. And I'm the type of person, I love hard, but I don't give an F even harder. Like, that's me, I guess, because I'm a Capricorn. Like, I definitely love hard.
No, Pisces is the same way. We love hard if you're worthy.
I don't give
you have to be
worthy.
Libras are like that. I mean, I guess, I don't know. Because I still find it, like I said, I still find it hard to believe that, the alignment of the stars has anything to do with anyone's personality. But
there's some of that in there.
But I do feel very much that I do reflect the scale, because when I'm balanced, like I'm good. But if I'm like tipped over, or I'm something like is unbalanced in my scale, oh, I'm Tasmanian devil out this bitch.
Yeah.
So
Let me
I'm
ask
like,
you both a question.
yeah.
Okay. And we're all entrepreneurs. But when you go to a company and you want to get hired, what do they give you first and foremost?
An interview.
Before that?
Application.
Have you ever thought about putting together a symbolic application for cats to fill some stuff out? Because the interview comes after we take a look at this thing here. And if you don't have the qualifications, and I'm not talking about just money and stuff like that, but just emotional, mental, spiritual,
Empathy.
you know what I'm saying? If you don't have that, you don't get an interview. And if you get an interview, you still got to get a second and a third, and then you got to get with the board of directors, which might be your family, your girlfriends, whatever. If we go through this with a house, we go through this with a car, we go through this with a company, why can't we be intelligent to go through this with people? It saves time and it makes people accountable. And if people are shunned by that, well, go ahead on about your business.
It wasn't for you.
Is that something that resonates with either one of you?
Yeah, that's how I was with my husband. With my husband, it wasn't so much as that, like I gave him, it wasn't so much that I gave him an interview or application, but
Bless your hearts and all your parts.
excuse me, it wasn't so much that I gave him an application, but he was checking off the things that I was liking, you know, over the course of the time of me getting to know him.
And that's important too. Length of time. Length of time. Because we can get swept up in some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I remember
But time really don't. I understand the length of time. I mean, you can get caught up in, like what Steve Harvey said, that 90-day rule or whatever.
Oh,
But it's like people eventually show who they really are as time go on. You just have to be protective of yourself. Yeah, of
aware.
yourself.
And sometimes it takes a long time for them to show themselves.
Yes, very
long
long time. And
So-
you're like, wow, like it's unbelievable. Like that's kind of just.
Yeah,
Is it that people take a long time to show themselves, or is it that people are themselves every day and we see it and choose to ignore
both.
it?
Ooh.
Both. You're in denial.
Yeah.
Because people are really themselves every day.
No, there's some people that hide themselves because they know they ain't shit. They know they ain't shit. So they're trying to put forth their best effort to get you in. And once they do, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit of something there. It's a little bit of something there. I don't care what nobody says.
Oh, I think it's the fact that you
there.
notice it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not being done to you. So
Yeah,
you're just
yeah.
like, well, shit, it ain't being done to me. So it's like,
Well,
you
this
wouldn't
is
do
how I
that
look
to
at it.
me.
If I
or
see
whatever.
somebody that's always talking about somebody, I know at some point in time I'm
You're
gonna be
gonna
that
tell
somebody
you
talking
talking
about.
Like I said, you
I
don't
got-
want to.
If you went on if you was
Acknowledge
on
it.
a first date with someone and they was rude to the waiter.
First of all, ma'am, I don't date because let me tell you why. Listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying.
Well, I need to get back in the dating scene. I have no idea
Yeah,
how
let me tell you
to.
why. Because dating to me means, okay, we're going out trying to get to know
Each other.
We're going out because we
You know each other.
So I'm doing the preliminaries.
Right.
I'm not investing in a dime of time or money.
So you ain't flying nobody out.
said a
I ain't flying
dime.
nobody
Not
out.
time or money until I realize, okay, this is somebody that's worthy
Of
of
my
my time
time.
and attention. And if that's the case, and if she feels the same way, we can go share a tuna sandwich, and it don't matter.
See, that's how I am. It's never been materialistic about anything. Like, I'm perfectly fine with going to the park and making a little snack, little
Of some
lunch.
healthy
But
yeah, like,
you got
it's
away from
fun.
the question being
It's-
a red flag. If that person was rude, let's say y'all was in the park
Mhm.
and somebody tripped over their feet and they was like, man, watch, can you watch where the fuck you go? Like, or they just was like, or rude about that. If
Yeah.
they were just showed
Yeah.
a slight characteristics and then came back and was like, yeah, so what's up?
No, hold on. That's a
You
narcissist.
Say what now?
You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm saying that because to say people show themselves a little bit of themselves every day, no
Yeah,
matter
yeah.
what.
See, I don't know because
No, they
I
show a
know
little
the
bit of
situation.
themselves every day. Like, let me tell you, I can tell you about me. No matter what, I am who I am. Is either you love me or you don't. Listen,
It is what it is.
I curse. Okay?
Works to me.
But it's been times when I know how to be who I need to be when I need to be it. So it's if I'm in a place where I know it's inappropriate for me to curse, or I'm in a business meeting and I know I need to use a different set of vocabulary, then I'll do that. But you might hear me say shit. You know what I mean? It's like it's embedded in me.
Well, with me,
I am who I am. People are who they are every day.
but I'm gonna diversify on that. I like to see what people are during time of challenge and difficulty, because when you got money in your pocket, the house is big and clean, everything is going well. Most people gonna act like they got some sense.
Yeah, but I don't think money should change you.
Does all the time.
I know, but I just feel like you should be. I don't had it before. I don't lost it all.
Yes.
Now I'm building my way back up. So it's like
Facts.
when I had it all, I was the same person that when I didn't
was
have it all
nicer.
or whatever. Like I just understand like it should not have to change you. Like the love of money is the root of all evil. And it's like just because you have it doesn't mean that okay, now that you can go buy Louis instead of Target. Like
The love of money
makes
is
you
not
think
the root of all evil. I think we were talking
the
about that.
love
in
of
the last.
money is
That's what the
definitely
book says.
Yeah, the
That's
love
what
of
the book
money
says.
is the root of all evil.
But my thing is, whoever put that in place, that's somebody who's rich and they want you to stay where you are.
Mm-hmm.
They keeping you from that. Because I don't care
Yeah.
what you say, that gives you options. I love options. And without them, you could be one of them cats out there with a sign.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
But I
that's
don't
out
think
there.
it should be like it should change who you are as a person. It should never
It's
change
gonna
your
make you more of
character.
who you are.
It shouldn't never change your character.
Mhm.
Just like I said, his action's
When I
not
had
going
a
to
little
dictate
bit
my
of-
character. My character's not going to change because of what you're doing or whatever. So
I think
the
I'm
fact that I
nicer
have
with money.
Nicer, much
Like-
nicer.
like what?
I relax
During
better, I sleep
pandemic?
better.
What? Oh, you got the people.
My bitches was eating. You crazy? Shit, we don't want the.
Takes
Let
the
me
stress
not
out.
incriminate
Takes all
myself.
the stress out. Yeah, the stress
No,
goes
but really, I
Mhm.
am. When I
Yeah.
have money, I really am nicer. Like
You definitely
I don't
are.
mind
You feel,
going
it makes
out.
You feel better.
it doing
There
whatever,
you
we
go.
balling
Yeah.
like everybody having
makes you-
fun.
But that's who you are anyway.
Yeah.
And
That's
money
true.
makes you more.
Yes,
of
it
that.
enhances. It should
Mhm.
not change you.
Mhm.
Like I said, I can have it and not
Mhm.
have it or whatever. I'm not gonna change who
Mhm.
I am as my character, core belief. I'm still gonna be humble about it. Yes, I would rather walk out here
Mhm.
with Louis Prada and Gucci and everything else or whatever,
Mhm.
but I still will rock. Just like on that song, would say Fendi Prince or
Mhm.
Fashion Nova. I'll rock either one, and you still wouldn't know the
So
difference or
how
whatever. And
do-
still be secure within myself.
How do you relate trauma, money, and sex?
I was just about to go there. We're right here. Right here. Okay, that's where I want to go because that's really what the show is kind of surrounding. So during the time of the trauma, since the trauma, how is it that you can or cannot open up sexually? Now, on the Pussy Power Hour, we
Money does not make my pussy wet.
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm.
Like I like dinners. I like eating. I like doing all that shit. We could go to dinner. You could be balling, and then at the end of the night, I'd be like, "All right," and you would not get nothing. So it's like the money doesn't mean anything. Even I don't care if you fly me to the island. We would get to the island, and I still won't give you no pussy. It's not the money.
That's gonna be a problem.
No, I ain't gonna lie.
I know it
For most
would.
men.
I know it would. But at the
That's gonna be
same,
a
but
problem. for most
I've done
men.
that.
but listen,
before.
it's not the. I've done it before too, my G.
Yeah,
I've
and
done
be
it.
sitting there
I've been put on the
like,
plane to get to
bitch.
my destination and not give you no pussy. Right?
I feel
So
sorry for you cats.
listen,
Feel so
listen.
sorry.
It's definitely
That was
not
like
the
long.
money.
Yeah,
It's not the money. Like it's not the money. It's not the money for me. My trauma trigger is not money. I would say that.
It's definitely
My trauma trigger is not money.
So you were not able to be open, be sensual, be passionate during your trauma. I take it.
No, I just wanted to heal myself. Like I really put a lot into that. And like I said, I was more upset with myself because I was disappointed in myself, like how much I really put and how much effort and how pure hearted I was with the whole situation. So it had nothing to do with me really not opening up to nobody else or whatever. Like I said,
So were
it's
you
nothing.
still able to have sex with him?
I have, but I have not in God knows when or whatever.
Okay, you
once
have,
in
but
the
I'm talking
last
about the quality of. Was it a full 100% opening? Because most people don't operate when they have.
As he said, you said some people do the dead fish thing. That's what he said.
Well,
Dead fish.
again,
Yeah, it
Yeah, is
definitely
it
wasn't.
intimate? Is it romantic?
Yeah,
or
it
is it
wasn't.
just like
It wasn't like
you're just
we're back in the day like making love. No, it was like you go, I think you're thing. No, it wasn't like that. But I mean, we had sex, but it wasn't the same passion behind it because there's so much hurt and pain and it was hard.
yeah.
Like,
because
yeah.
I don't
So
know.
like I even remember
People are
like one
different.
time
Mhm.
even, like more in the beginning when things started to like I guess like 2 years ago or whatever, like when I kind of really started to see everything. Like I think one time we was having sex and I actually cried and it was just like it was more of just the pain of it all, like that connection that I feel.
Did he know that was your pain when you cried? Or he thought he was just the man.
No, he just like definitely like what the hell's going on. But it's like to explain it to him or whatever, like to really go into detail was just like wow, like that's how I knew like I need to heal before I move on to anyone else or whatever.
We have
It's
50
like
minutes, friend.
Because
We have 50 minutes.
Okay, here's the deal with that too. People are different, right? And gender makes a difference because you can be hurt, you can be in trauma, but you can open your legs and still receive.
Yeah,
With
that's
a
just
man,
me. I can't.
he gonna be like this. I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm impacted in a way
Now-
that I can't.
Now,
perform.
can I say this? I have been in a space or in a cipher with a man who trigger trauma was money. He couldn't get hard because he wasn't getting no money, or he felt like he was losing money, or a situation
That's
where,
unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Because when money ain't there, that's usually what we go to is sex. That's so unfortunate.
Yeah.
you know, it was
One would
it
think,
was
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, you know, some men. And typically most Capricorn men are goal driven. So when they're goal driven, it's typically if it is a financially or a fiscal goal, it's like it will impact them significantly. Capricorn men, it will impact them. Like if they cannot accomplish a mission. And it's like, yo, all right, even if it's like Capricorn men,
a Capricorn
like
woman, like
if they like, all right,
things in
they're
order.
gonna if they plan on having 20 stacks in their account by February 14th, and Valentine's Day come and they don't have that, they don't care this Valentine's Day, they're not gonna be able to get hard. Like a Capricorn man is very goal driven, especially
I think you can
financially,
have that in all
and when he
sides.
lack that financial,
But
it plays a part.
And
sex drive.
like it definitely impacted as a female Capricorn female. It definitely impacted me like sex because our relationship was never based on sex or whatever. So that when you're mature and you're older, you're looking for love and a man. Like I'm not 20, I'm 40. So it's like I'm not looking for somebody just to pound, like sex is everything. No, like I'm trying to really build and start a life and do all this stuff or whatever. So it's not about sex. Like that's not the component of whatever and why I wanted to keep my marriage together, like because of sex. Like I can't function. And like I said, it was already compacted issues and trauma. And like I said, it's pushing down even more. And that's just why I felt like I couldn't have any more kids at the time or whatever because of all the trauma and stuff or whatever and being impacted and pushed it down. Like I was not where I wanted to be at mentally and physically and financially or whatever from being a Capricorn and always having my stuff in order or whatever, being on top of my stuff and not having any of that stuff in order because I'm dealing with mental health at the time. I didn't know how to navigate it. So it's just like sex wasn't like, oh, okay. I just
our
compressed it.
knows,
Like it just pushed it to the side and like
our audience knows and understands in it, and they're coming to know and understand that we talk about 4 different levels of what we call sex. We have sex, we have fucking, making love, and sensual expression. But then there are subparts to each. Of course, we define sex as, okay, I'm married to you, you're married to me, we have a civic duty, and we got to make some kids. That's sex. Fucking is, hey, that's the sport. You're here, I'm here. Let's fuck. We ain't got nothing else to do. Then you have making love, which includes some realm of, okay, I like you, you like me. There's something more here than just the physical. And then you have sensual expression. So it sounds like what you're saying, you know, yeah, when I was going through this trauma, I was able to get together and do something. But the passion, the intimacy, the affection the trust, the security, all the intangibles that really make for good sensual expression wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's not there, you can't have sensual expression. You can fuck.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have sensual expression. You can have sex. You can't really even make love because that's all the same ingredients that's in love making.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, if somebody has that and that's in their character and their personality, they don't even have to fuck you and they can still make you feel wonderful because it's a part of their personality. I see you treating me right even in the times when you're going through difficult shit. I like people like that. You having an effed up day, but you still ain't include me in that. You still treat me like you said.
And I have to say, I've been there. I've been in a situation where I have indulged in a form of sensual expression with someone, and it was because it was almost like a therapeutic session for me. Like you said, it had some of those sensual traits that made me feel good, or I felt like I was giving the therapeutic session. Like I felt like, you know, like that person required my sensual expression to be okay, and I wanted to make that person feel okay. So I've used those before.
But I kind of said in the beginning, like you said, that's how I was in the beginning, where it's like everything, like the whole thing just exuded like the love and everything from it. So it's like that's why it never, it never was the sex or whatever. It was everything else that you said that made me feel like never, regardless of what your actions were, whatever made me step out or entertain anything, because that's how I felt when you couldn't do anything for me. I felt the love, but it's like then when you could do everything for me, I didn't feel the love, and that's the disconnect that I couldn't get through. Like when you sitting there and say, "Oh, like I feel mellow," when you out and about, you doing whatever, I don't feel the same. So you had nothing, and I felt everything, and you have everything now, and I feel nothing.
That's like that saying, a man is defined when he has everything, and
A woman
is defined
nothing.
when she has
He has nothing.
a woman is how they say it.
A woman is defined when a man has nothing. A woman's loyalty is defined when a man has everything, or something
like that. It's a meme that goes something like that. If y'all find it, let me know. Shoot it.
something like that.
But yeah, so we this was a great episode.
Oh, it was.
I felt like we healed in this episode.
That we definitely could out here. We could do more.
I felt like we did some healing in this episode.
No, like I really learned a lot just from as far as like the trauma and how everything, and it all makes sense to me now as to why I had so much of that pressure and being able to release different things.
Yeah, all fluids is going to affect your pH balance,
and it's very true. And people don't realize that the energy that you reside with, people feel like because they don't see it, that they don't really understand that it's not real. And like I say, it's just like when you're going through, somebody hurt your feelings and you start crying, that's a form of energy being transitioned into a physical matter. So that same thing happens inside the body. When you are hurting, it transforms into a physical fibroid. So that's what it's the same facet as you having your feelings hurt and it being transferred into some tears. So people, they can challenge and say that, oh, well, I don't believe that energy has anything to do with, me getting fibroids.
Absolutely
Yes, it does.
The stress on your body, like that's why exercise helps with the stress, because you're releasing that stress and you're letting some of it go. And this is why I did really get back into the health and fitness and doing all that, because it helped release some of it, just to take the pressure off your mind or whatever. Just let stuff go.
And so let them know how they can contact you. And if people have situations and they see these things that we have discussed, I want to talk. How could they get in contact with you?
Yeah, you can check me out at dangerzone.pt.com. So it's DANGERZONE.pt.com. I have journey programs, challenges, meal plans. I actually have products on there, waist snatchers.
I like a good meal prep.
Yeah, that I have. Thigh snatchers on there. I have sea moss and I have a detox tea. So you definitely can check me out. Set up a consultation on dangerzone.pt.com. And thanks for definitely having me.
And she's going to be back. She's going to be back because there's so much more we can cover and pull out. And I just want to, before we go off the air, I don't know if you did or did not get this, but on behalf of the entire masculine energy on the planet. We want to apologize for you guys experiencing the abuse and whatnot. A lot of times we get through, but we never get the apology. So I want to give you that apology from the entire, at least the heterosexual masculine community on the planet, and that's a lot of us. And hopefully that going towards you will help also into getting a perfect healing and having a holistic health and wellness balance that perhaps you've never had in your entire existence here on the planet in this incarnation. So we thank everybody for tuning in to the Pussy Power Hour. And the next time around, it's going to be something even greater. Bless your hearts and all your parts.
And all your parts.
Peace.
Thank you. That was great.